You're a filmmaker, a beginner or a pro. In any case, editing is a big part of your creative process. But do you really feel like you have mastered it and you're confident when all the footage gets transferred and it's time for the final countdown? Well, I'm here to give you 5 tips for leveling up your editing workflow. Sometimes it looks scary when you don't know from where to start, but when you have created a good system, it is simply a small step after another one. The easier and faster you find what you need, the more time and space you will have for creative decisions. Because, let's face it, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the different steps you have to take on the track of getting an idea to reality. That's why you have to put things in order. On my drive, I have folder for footage, depending if I have more than one camera, folder for each camera, folder for audio, for assets I'm going to use for this specific project, and etc. And this same system is automatically transferred in the editing program that I'm using, in my case, DaVinci Resolve. So I have the same folders with the same names and the same files. When imported in the program, I would label the different clips and assets with different colors. And that way, even when I insert them on the timeline by the colors, I can easily be oriented which clip from which camera or angle is coming from. Having a good system that can maintain all your footage, assets and music saves you time and energy to focus on what is really important. There is a great saying by James Clear: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And the same principle stands if you want to become a great and consistent editor. Stacked timelines. After I have selected all my best footage, it's time to start working on the main edit. The way I found for myself to be most productive is to use stacked timelines. Put the raw cuts on the top and start working on the main edit on another timeline underneath. You can easily transfer footage between the two timelines and you see everything all together. What I like to do is when I'm about to use a clip, I will move it to the second track on the raw cuts timeline, and that way I'm always knowing which clip I have used and which is free to be used. Music is a key. The music you're using and how you're going to use it is defining. And I'm not saying to just find a great beat and slap it on the timeline, but rather learn how to listen and to use music. Find the part with slow melody and use it for the story that maybe is not that fast-paced. Or find a good rhythm when you're introducing more movement in your footage and development in the story. But don't just use a banger beat without finding where exactly the connections between it and the footage you have may be. And something I absolutely treasure is when I'm able to use different stems of a track. And just recently Artlist added this feature to their platform. You just have to choose the song you like, and if it has stems, you can download it separately. Sometimes you don't want to use the whole song, but just the drums, or you like the melody, but you don't want the vocals. Guess what? You can use it separately. It is just a life-changing tool when it comes to editing and finding the right music for your videos. So yeah, this third tip is kind of sponsored by Artlist, but I'm wholeheartedly stoked about this new feature that they released on their platform. And beside that, if you want music, SFX, footage and template gallery at your disposal at any time, Artlist is the right platform for you. If you go to the link in my description and sign up now, you will get 2 completely free months of your annual Artlist subscription. So yeah, using separately the stems from a music track can just make your video so much richer, and you can really concentrate on the part that you want. Being able to execute an action the fastest way possible is a crucial part of a good editing workflow. Get to know all the shortcuts that you have available. I just recently discovered that by pressing the secondary arrow you can move the selected clip by just one frame, and if you don't want to zoom every time when you have to move a clip with a few frames for, let's say, match the music beat, it saves a ton of time. So go in the keyboard shortcut menu and learn them. But besides getting to know all the available shortcuts, make sure that you customize the ones that you use the most. Not all pre-existing shortcuts are ergonomic and fast at all. Yeah, it might not look that big of a deal to stretch your hand over the entire span of the keyboard or to use two hands for one shortcut, but in the long term you will be losing a ton of time by doing that again and again and again. So you just have to recognize which actions you take the most when editing and assign those actions to a shortcut that is easy accessible and you don't have to stretch your hand to the other end of the keyboard to get it. Ideally, you would want your most used shortcuts to be on the left side of the keyboard, as with your right hand you're using the mouse. For me, the shortcuts that I use all the time are split clip, assigned to W, start to playhead is right next to it, assigned to Q, and to playhead is assigned to E. Right above it, 1 and 3 is for zooming in and out, and 2 is for start playing. T is for dynamic trim, and Y is for deleting, and U is for undo. So that way I have all these actions in one part of the keyboard. By the way, if you like the keyboard that I'm using, you can get it for 10% discount on Marvel Store, link in the description. It's not sponsored, but they just sent me this keyboard and I think it's great for editing and I like the looks of it. And now, next tip. You have to buy a proper mouse with more than 2 buttons. Besides your keyboard, the mouse is what you use the most, and you can utilize it so that it's not only scrolling and selecting, but actually having a certain shortcuts assigned to it. I have set the 2 right buttons on my thumb to act like W and Q, split clip and cut start to playhead. And it is not only the practical part of a good mouse, but also the importance of it being good for your body. Most of the customer mouses out there are not designed for the best position of your hand, and they are not ergonomic. And by putting your wrist in a constant stretched position, you might hurt it, as I did in the past years, and I had pain all the time in my wrist. You would kind of want to have a good body condition beside being a good editor. So here is a bonus tip. Take care of your body. We spend so many hours in front of the desk, and in the long term, our physical condition might suffer if we don't move enough and be outdoors. So find the time for outdoor activities, for training, running, etc. That was 5 tips for leveling up your editing game. And through the making of this video, I realized that there are a few more that I would like to share with you. So subscribe for part 2 and comment down below if there is a tip or something that I may be missing about getting better at editing. Speaking about systems in the beginning of the video, I'm working hard on a system of delivering more of these videos on a regular basis. So, see you soon.